Hey everyone, in this tutorial we'll be going over a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional arrays are mostly useful when you're working with GUI, and GUI stands for Graphic User Interface, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's just do a simple two-dimensional arrays. Alright, so let's get started. We have to type our data type now. For this tutorial, we'll be doing byte. And for two-dimensional, make sure you have your two pairs of brackets, because this pair represents rows and this one represents columns. So now let's do A, or you can name your variable anything as you want, or not variable. You can name your array anything as you want. So we'll name it A and do new, and make sure you have your data type again and your two pairs of brackets. And for this one, we can set our max to 2 rows and 2 columns. So let's do that. But I'm going to do one each corner, one top left and one bottom right. So let's do A 0 0, it's equivalent to 10, and A 1 1, it's equivalent to 20. Now let's output it. Do A1 A1. Alright, now let's save this, compile, and run. You get 20. This method, or yeah, this way of doing an array is mostly useful if you just use the syntax to add an array to the existing one or delete one. And to delete, just ask the user if they want to delete, and then make sure you have if else, and if they do want to delete it, then we use this syntax to delete the array, or not the array, but the value inside the array. So now let's go over a two-dimensional initializer array, which I like the most. Make sure you have your two curlies, because this right here will open up the whole array, and make sure you have an extra array, or not array, an extra curly brace at the end to close it, because we use this one right here to close a certain part of the array, which you'll see now. Let's say we want 1, 2, and 3, and we close it off so we can go to the next column. And remember, there are no max, so it's good. So now let's do 4, 5, 6, and then you close off another brace, curly brace, and that's why we add another curly brace here, because you close off the whole thing, and this right here closes off the row. So it's pretty useful. Alright, if you want to show everything inside the array, then make sure you use your for loop, because I know y'all won't use or print out each statement. So let's do a for loop. Do byte, and then use row equals 0, and then rows is less than, use the variable a, the array name a here, and length. If you haven't watched my last tutorial, then I recommend you to watch that, because in my last tutorial I did like one-dimensional array, and that tutorial explains a lot about this right here. So I recommend you to pause this and watch my last tutorial if you don't know what this syntax means. So now let's do an increment. So let's do rows plus plus. Alright, curly brace here. not have a nested loop. Yeah, have a nested for loop because you also want to increment the columns. So just do pipe or byte columns equals 0, and then do columns less than the array A, and make sure you have your rows because it will increment the rows after it gets done with the columns. So it's really useful, and remember the syntax. Don't forget about it. And then now increment the columns as well. Alright, now let's do this. Let's output it. Alright, now let's have let's have it show in our CMD. So let's do the array A, rows, and columns. Make sure your space so it'll look good. And then close it off with your curly brace. And now we're ready to save and compile and run. Java C, Java C 1 2 3 4 5 6. Even though it doesn't show that in that kind of format of rows and columns, but like I said, it's mostly used in working with GUIs. So this concludes my tutorial over a two-dimensional array. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and hopefully you'll subscribe.